Hey everybody, it's Aryeh with a sealed PTQ video. So far, things are looking pretty good. I just sorted by rarity, and we have a Chandra's Ignition, a Thopter Spy Network, and a Languish. Oh yeah, and by the way, Hangerback Walker. So that's pretty nice. It's already, you know, can pretty much almost build a deck there. I don't know which one, but it's some pretty good rares. Better than most pools, I'm sure. And let's just go ahead and sort here by mana cost. So we have some good ones. It's a good one. That's a good one. So what I'm doing here just at the beginning is I'm just going to look at which colors are deep. White is not looking great. It seems to have a lot of jailers, enlightened ascetics, and even battle priests. None of my rares are white anyway, so that's probably fine. Look at all these red cards. Wow. Okay. Well, red is looking real nice. Look at all these gear crafters. The question is, are we not going to play a Languish? Because we're just going to be like red blue with this Thopter Spine network? We'll have to see. So this is a bevy of red 3 drops. We have all the good ones. And we have red 2 drops. Wow. Look at all these 2 drops. Maybe not Smash to Smithereens, but the rest. So let's see, take that out. And already right there we have what? 10 good playable red cards and like a solid curve. So I'm liking that. That's pretty nice. Hangerback Walker, I guess we'll put as a 2 drop, but you obviously can fill in anywhere. Ram Roller's insane in a deck like this because we have a million artifacts. And so now it becomes down to whether or not we're going to play blue or are we going to play black. There is a Blazing Hellhound, which is definitely relevant. I don't know if it pulls us into a particular direction, but it's a good one to know about. And let's just sort by color and just see what happens. So in black, it looks like we have 2 Read the Bones, which is a lot of bone reading, probably too much. A Reeve Soul and nothing. That's not great. Let's just take a cursory look at green now. Green sucks. Okay. I guess that's over. And white we've already established is not great. So that looks like we're down to blue. We have Maritime Guard, which is reasonable. A Ring Warden Owl, which is not great. 3 Fairy Miscreants, which is like 1 away from actually being able to do that. But 3 is not 4, unfortunately. I don't know. Is it possible we're supposed to? I just can't see playing this green deck. Like, you have all these Valerian Wardens, and we're already like infinite 3 drops, and all of them are better than Valerian Wardens, so I just don't think it's possible. Plus, Thopter Spy Network is looking fantastic in this deck. With Hangerback Walker, you can play these bonded constructs and all these things that make artifacts. Like, there's no way that Thopter Spy Network is not ridiculous in here. Yet Disperse is a decent trick. Water Courser is a decent creature. Ring Warden Owl is a mediocre finisher, but we already have an Ignition and a Seismic Elemental. This is tough. And then for black, we would play like maybe an Eyeblade Assassin. These Read the Bones, Shambling Ghoul, another 2 drop. That's relevant. Oh, there's a Fetid Imp hanging out as well. This is difficult. This is actually going to be a little bit difficult. I don't think in any world are we going to play this white. It's very, very bad. And the green is not great. I don't like green in this format ever, so that's maybe I'm slightly biased, but I think this green in particular is quite bad. There's just nothing there. You know, like all these pilgrimage, Nissa's pilgrimage and Yeva's force mage and a bunch of nonsense. So we could almost be mono red here. I mean, you could play prickle boar. We have lightning javelin, which I didn't even see. So we really are almost just splashing the second color at this point. So the question is, which is a better splash? Thopter Spy Network and Disperse, or Blazing Hellhound and Languish? It's really tough because Spy Network has such good synergy with our deck. We have so many artifacts. It's really, really hard to not play that. At the same time, Languish just has it in like raw power level. Languish is just incredible, and especially in sealed, just because nobody can really play around it. I mean, what are they supposed to do? Just not play creatures? Like they can't do anything about Languish. So let's just look and see what's going to happen here. I really feel like maybe the blue is 1 playable away. Um, this would be 23 cards. I guess it is playing 2 bonded constructs, which is not fantastic. But I don't. I mean, I guess the other option is a rabid bloodsucker when we already have all these high drops. That does not seem good. Although I will say, as much as Flapper Spy Network has fantastic synergy in this deck with a bunch of artifacts, so does Blazing Hellhound. I mean, Blazing Hellhound is like very, very good in a deck like this with a bunch of disposable creatures and a bunch of creatures that make creatures. That guy can just start gunning people down very, very quickly. That guy can get out of hand. And Languish is just such a broken card in limited. It's pretty hard to not play it. And our high end is not too bad. I mean, Chandra's Ignition is very, very good, and Seismic Elemental Prickle Board give you great targets for it. Even Blazing Hellhound's a reasonable target. Past that, it's a little bit light on big creatures to target with the Ignition, but I mean, even if you just Ignition for just a few, it's probably going to be good enough. Ram Roller's going to have 4 power all the time in this deck too, which is kind of nice. So, I don't know. I don't think you have to spend a lot of time making Chandra's Ignition better than it already is. It's already pretty ridiculous. I mean, this deck would just love to have an Artifact Lord. Artifact Lord would be incredible, but I guess you can't have it all. We do have the Hanger Backwalker. Let's put it here. Pretend like it's a 4-drop. I mean, this deck looks very strong. I think it's better than the blue. I feel like the blue, its Spy Network is very tempting, but the rest of it's not great. I could see a world in which we actually side into the blue if their deck is sort of slower and cards like Bonded Construct, Subterranean Scout are just completely mediocre. Then we might want to be the deck that instead has Maritime Guard, Negate, Disperse, Spy Network. So that would be a possibility that we could go into the blue post board in some matchups if their deck's slow enough. But I think I'd rather just start here. I mean, Languish is actually very good in this deck because I have all these guys that make a second guy, like the triple Gearcrafter or the Engineer, and even cheap ones like Bonded Construct, which is not a great card, but it's very easy to Languish and then post Languish play like Gearcrafter plus Construct. All of a sudden, you have 3 creatures, you have 5 power, and that only costs 4 mana to accomplish. I also like the fact that Fetid Imp and Shambling Ghoul are additional 2-drops, and they're both like good 2-drops. Maritime Guard is fine, and I definitely don't mind playing it, but it is not on the same level, obviously, as these other 2-drops. Dragon Fodder is not looking fantastic in this deck. It's looking kind of mediocre, actually, but I still think we play it. It's very good with the Bonded Constructs because it allows them to attack very easily, and I still do like playing the Constructs. I think that this kind of format really does reward people who have plays early in the game, and it looks like we're going 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop in every game, which is fantastic, obviously. The card that is interesting is Read the Bones. The question is, do we play a Read the Bones in our deck? But I just don't think we do. I don't think we need it. I mean, it's like the thing about decks like this, when you tend to open them, which is not very often, is that you don't need to Read the Bones because your deck has so much redundancy. I mean, we literally have, this playset of cards here that do the exact same thing as each other. And then we have just these other random 3-drops that are very good. We have, removal. And so, like, I don't even know, what are we digging for with Read the Bones? Like, what are we trying to find? There's not like a card we're trying to find other than maybe the Ignition. But I think we're happy just drawing the Ignition or the Languish naturally. I don't think we need to force the issue on that. Plus, like, our turn 3 plays are pretty stacked as it is, and I don't really love the idea of casting Read the Bones on turn 7 or whatever. It feels like most of the games are going to be over by then. So I am going to try it like this. Possible other cards that could be in are Chandra's Fury, the Rabid Bloodsucker, the aforementioned Read the Bones. But I kind of like it this way. I think this is kind of nice. And we can play the Foundry of the Councils because only Languish punishes us, I guess. 1 card, and it's totally worth it because Foundry is very, very good in this deck. We can get a critical mass of small flyers and just beat them up. So, yeah, that is not going to happen. Moto with always the best suggestions, huh? 8/8 might be fine. I would prefer to have, say, like an Evolving Wilds, but it's just not here. I would definitely go 9/7 if it weren't for Languish, for sure. That would be 9/7 red, but that's our only double-colored cards are Chandra's Ignition, Languish, and Seismic Elemental. Every other card in the whole deck is single-colored, so I think 8 of each source is fine with the Foundry, just to help us grind people out in the late game, which we really want to do. And the Ram Roller looks fantastic here. I mean, Ram Roller's got just like everything he ever wanted. He's got a million guys to turn it on, and a million other creatures to attack with that make his must attack ability not as bad, because if you attack with it and Gearcrafter in the token, it's like they kind of have to eat the Gearcrafter rather than try to eat the Ram Roller, so they're just taking way too much damage. Just from the Ram Roller turn after turn, and that's assuming they even have a decent block on it. Like if they have a decent block on Ram Roller, that's fine. Then the Gearcrafter token is just going to beat them to death. And if they don't have a decent block on Ram Roller, then they just have to block the Gearcrafter to try to trade something away to make the board, to unclutter the board, but then Ram Roller keeps Ram rolling. So I'm pretty sure this is it. I don't see anything that makes me not want to do this. This seems completely fine. Let's just make sure we're not missing anything. I don't think so. I don't think this green is not playable. I think that Read the Bones is fine, but not great. I think Spy Network would be fantastic in my deck, but you can't have everything you want. As cool as it would be to have Thopter Spy Network in this deck, it would be awesome. The deck is already good enough. It doesn't need anything else. So this is what I'm going to register, and I'll see you guys for round 1.